Zach, it is Monday, March the 30th, and it's only been 19 days of no sports.
God, feels like 19 years.
It's been bad, but we are on, officially this podcast is on Corona Watch. Because one of our own, who you will not hear from today, might have it. We get this message. We get this message today from Scotty Moore. Guys, I've been sick and throwing up all morning. ... I've had to cancel a work call, which I never do.
Never do.
Never do. It's not looking great for tonight, which I never do. Scotty's been deemed questionable due to coronavirus concerns.
Per sources.
Per sources. Per himself.
For himself.
I'm Josina Anderson right now, because whenever she breaks something, she says, "Oh, this guy texted me that." He's like, "Brandon Cooks is going to the Saints. He texts me today." Like, instead of per sources. Scotty, we didn't do him any good after I sent him back a picture of the coronavirus walking down a tree-lined road, just the virus waving hi to him, and you sent Seth Meyers
pouring Purell into his mouth.
He says it's just bad salmon. I'm not buying it. I think there's reason for concern. How many bad salmons have you had?
What is the lie counter in this Scotty message? The only one that's true, I think, is that he's not doing the pod.
He's definitely canceled a work call.
Yeah.
Maybe. But real quick, we'll jump into the episode. We'll do our Tiger King, episode 4 through 7.
We miss you, Scotty.
We miss you for that. This is big. We finished Tiger King. We'll get through that. We have our 2K/NFL simulations that we're betting on currently. We'll have our top 5 college football players of all time. That's trending on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Advice to our 18-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll also start the pod with top 5 things Scotty would say if he had coronavirus. I made a list. So we'll start with that. Number 1. Fuck, dude, this sucks.
Bunk.
2. Tweet something telling people how serious it is with a tweet that ends with the peace sign.
Your classic heartfelt Scotty tweet.
Uh-huh. Try to get a shout out from a Broncos player. Give it to someone else. And 5, be late to recording the pod. Sorry, guys, I had coronavirus. Just like twice a week. Sorry, guys, I had coronavirus.
There's a missed free throw there for you, bud.
Well,
12-point game.
I did.
Daddy's covering by the thinnest
14,
of margins. Hey,
14. So we'll just start with there. Our 2K NFL simulations. Last couple weeks ago, Zach and I bet on 5 2K simulations. Today we're betting on 3 and 2 NFL games. Mm-hmm. Started off, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 11.5 against the Bucks. They're currently down 12 with 1:43 left in the third quarter.
8-minute quarters.
8-minute quarters. And then later on, that's a foul. Later on, Dallas, Denver.
Love it. I've got Dallas plus 6.5.
I didn't like that. I have 76ers plus 3 at Pelicans, Zion watch. Zach, then we go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. Zach has the Chiefs minus 3, the one I wanted. At Green Bay, I have the Packers.
Easy money.
And then I have the Bills plus 6.5 at the Saints.
I like that one too.
But it's something.
Yeah.
It is something.
It's
something. So you want to get into our Tiger King recap?
Let's do it.
Well, like I said last time, we're about the 700th podcast to, recap Tiger King. But let's just do it. Where do you want to start? Episode 4 through 7. And if we say something from the first 3 episodes, who really cares?
Right.
But
because I watched this before you guys did.
Right.
And I've talked it to death with my wife and my brother because they all watched it as well.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you told us we had watched the first 3 together, or recapped it.
Right.
And then Scotty and I did a Netflix watch of the 4th episode. And you said in the pod, like, there's one moment on there that's just was it when that guy kills himself?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was the part to me. I was like, I was like, nothing's unexpected.
Well, and it's
point.
like, it's one thing if you just have somebody recounting the tale of that, but they have the actual security footage of the guy's reaction.
It's even more daunting that it's just the reaction. If it
there's no sound.
Yeah, because if it would have just been like if the camera was on him when he killed himself, it would have been blurred out. It would have been like that bomber that got, was it Evil Genius, the Netflix doc? that had the pizza bomber.
Yeah.
It would have been like that, where it was kind of, they would have darkened it or whatever. Timberwolves down 16. Quick 16.
A clean 16.
Clean 16. But yeah, that was the most shocking part. And then
he just sits there for like 30 seconds, just like.
And then I think the biggest Joe Exotic moment from the entire episode, or the entire series, was that he sang at the funeral.
Oh.
So he's like talking at the funeral. He's like.
It was not appropriate song either.
He was just like talking at the funeral. And of course he goes into, whenever I was upset, Travis just put them little balls on me.
Yeah.
And things were like golden nuggets to him. And the next thing I know, he
pans to his mother and sister.
Pans out to his mother and sister, and then it pans to "This Old Town" by Joe Exotic.
playing your own song at your husband's funeral.
So then my other takeaway.
Well, I thought was crazy where he gets attacked by one of his tigers, and he's like, "They put perfume on my shoe." Like, wait, what?
And then what's the guy's name? The asshole new zoo owner. Everyone's got a J name.
The Hurley hat guy.
Yeah, Hurley Affliction.
Yeah. He's that he wore Ed Hardy when it was popping off. Where's the Ferrari
triple digits
jacket
on his jeans?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
Jeff Lowe.
Yeah.
Jeff Lowe. He's the worst.
Yeah.
But
he's like, I don't know why he say I set him up. All I did was set him up.
Yeah. He like, I don't know why they're setting him up, and then there's what I did, and then he had a 5-minute explanation about how he set him up.
Yeah.
It's like, what would you call that? Yeah. Everyone collectively 3 million people were like setting him up.
Yeah.
One guy I hate is really the
guy with the lemur, the fat guy with they said he has the Chucky doll haircut.
How about that was the one they're like, he had a felony. It's like, he's like,
why would I sell a stolen car? It's like, because you're a convicted criminal.
Yeah, well, I like that the one felony that he has is for illegally buying a lemur. Yeah. Like, he's done all this and, has a stolen car and he's like embezzling from all these places. And he's like, oh, they got me on this lemur charge. It really got me.
Not the stolen Hummer, not all of these shady practices. He knows like all the shady people in town. He went to him to hook him up with try to find a hitman and all that kind of stuff. No, it's the lemur. You imported it, and he still has the lemur.
Yeah, and he's also credit Scotty. He's the biggest wild card in the entire episode because he's just like, I'm snitching on people, and then in the doc he's like, I'm gonna continue to snitch. It's like, nothing will stop me from snitching, and I'm not moving either. I'm sticking with whatever business he has.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He sells like antique toys or some shit. He looks like he has that eBay store that the chick in 40-Year-Old Virgin owns.
No, you can't buy stuff from him.
You can't buy stuff. He's like, I just want to go home and
skates.
buy these shoes.
Fat Jonah Hill.
Yeah. The glittery silver platforms with the goldfish on it. I just want to take these home and put them on. I don't know why you're...
So... At each part, and I said on the pod last Thursday that I'm a Joe Exotic guy. I think he's a scumbag, but everyone has their scumbagginess in this pod. Yeah, that's true too. But in the documentary, but the one guy, there's not a single moment where I was like, I like him. Even Carol, I was like, oh my god, she says the sardine oil thing, like hint hint, and then she says like she has that Get Rich Quick DVD. And I was like, okay, that's hilarious.
Everyone's got their own shtick.
But except her new husband.
Yeah.
Not a single time where I was like, I like this guy. Major legend of the simp game.
He really puts the uck and cuck.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know, like he's just, what's his role? He just like tagged on with Carol. He like wears a leash around his neck and he's like, whoever she says to sue.
Yeah, it was when Jeff Lowe called her a cunt on the phone. He was just like...
He just repeats it.
Yeah, he called my wife a cunt.
And
anyways...
And then he's like stone cold face on the old Facebook messages. He's just like, yeah, maybe you don't have crotch like your wife does. And it's that like sludge character with the face. But yeah, dude, I don't know. And like, a hand up, I kind of got confused when they were like, what exactly did they set him up with? Or they're like, oh, I think he was set up the whole time.
I think it was like
he got a minor Jeff D. Lowe actually actually?
I think it was the
said
money that he was using from the zoo to fund his campaign.
Okay.
And then they were going to get him on that, and then they were like campaign finance fraud, and then they're like, "Oh, we have this more juicy thing of the whole hitman thing."
Yeah. So
with the guy who apparently loves taking bubble baths.
Oh my god! Yeah. That guy is like hated Joe Exotic from the start.
Yeah.
And like
he was brought in to hate Joe.
Yeah. Did Joe Exotic ever mention a money amount to anyone on the phone? Because that's where I got confused. Because I thought
it was
Jeff
a text
D. Lowe,
message.
Okay. But who was the one?
It's like $1,500 or something like that.
Whose idea? Yeah. And how about Doc Antle? Is like, you're not going to get a good hitman to go cross country for $3,000.
Right.
He's like, that's got to be $10,000 at least.
Yeah.
And I was like, Doc?
Have you done this before?
And then it comes out at the end of the documentary that Doc's thing has gotten shut down.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, saw that coming.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Sorry, we're half-assing this.
I know. Milwaukee is up 12.
Milwaukee up 12.
I'm
11 and
sweating
a half,
this 11 and a half
point spread.
Literally sweating because that's just what I do on a daily basis, but also I'm inside sweating it.
Yeah, anything else from Tiger King? I think Joe's first husband, the one that had the meth mouth, he got a new set of teeth. Saw that.
Not gay.
Not gay. No, I guess none of them were.
Nope.
But they were just like...
I mean, we'll never know with Travis because he just,
R.I.P.
When you're a young fella, you sometimes you experiment. But
do you?
Not me, but some people do, I guess. I mean, if some
I think he just had an outlet.
I don't know, man. If Joe offered me meth and money and four-wheelers and guns and weed and trucks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, basically, if you have a zoo, you have an unlimited ATV budget.
Yeah,
that was my biggest takeaway.
It's a tax write-off.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's a nice little splurge.
Yep.
Anything else from this? Where, gosh, 15 points.
5.5 minutes left.
Jesus. Anything else for this? Where, were there any more shocks and twists in the last couple episodes?
It piddled out. That was my only gripe with this is that the episodes kind of piddled out.
Yeah, by like 6 and 7. I think they just came out of the gates so strong.
Yeah.
Where, like, I was expecting, like, 6 and 7 is like, oh, Joe...
Because 3 and 4 were, like, balls to the wall. You have the whole murder thing. There's Giannis with the dunk.
I thought 6 and 7 would be, like, Joe actually showed up, like, with a knife to Carol's house or something like...
Yeah, no, he just got arrested in a Florida parking lot, and that was it.
And,
but 3 and 4 was, like, you have the murder stuff, and then you have the suicide and the election stuff. And all of that was like, oh, this is dope. And then you're like, oh, how awesome is 5 and 6 going to be? And it's like, I mean, it's kind of cool. He brought Tiger Cubs into Vegas hotels and stuff. But other than that, it's like,
that guy's a total douche.
Yeah.
Just like, and of course, like,
who's that young wife? And there's like, yeah, he can totally bang other women. I don't have a problem with it.
It's like, you got to get on the treadmill pretty quick after.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Jenna was like, oh my God.
Annie has like that hot nanny now.
Yeah.
It's like all over Twitter now.
Right.
So, but that was Tiger King.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to do.
Watch Ozark.
Yeah, watch Ozark. Now I wish we would have... Spoiler alert, since Scotty's not available, we're not going to be doing the national championship of the worst / March Sadness bracket. So that's still down to 2. I guess we'll decide that Thursday pending Scotty's availability, or we make it into a vote on Twitter, something like that. But I wish I could... I wish I could go back in time to when we started the bracket and make it Ozark related and be like, one of the scenarios is that like you have like 20 missed calls when you get off work and they're all from like restricted numbers and you show up back at your house, no one's there except Helen is sitting at your kitchen table.
Oh no.
It's like, would you just kill yourself in that?
Or even worse, the hillbilly lady.
Yeah, Ozark really good. I'm excited to get through that. So you want to go to top 5 college football players of your lifetime?
Let's do it.
All right, number 5, Joe Burrow.
Number 5, Joe Burrow. Let's talk about it. No one's talking about it. Let's talk about it.
Joe Burrow, because even though it was one season,
it was like perfect for you, right? You get to watch. You get to like at the beginning of the year, you're like, tank for Tua, let's do it. And then
I wasn't even thinking that. I thought the Bengals would win like 5 or 6 games, do what they usually do, and pick like 10th. And
that's true. But it's like everyone's like, oh, Tua to the Dolphins, and now that still might happen, just not the way we thought, right?
Exactly. And you can't deny it was like one of the best college football seasons, and he was the talk of the town for a while. So 5 for me is Joe Burrow. What about you?
5, I have Matt Leinart.
Okay.
USC quarterback, two-time Heisman winner?
No. Archie
Just the
Griffin's
one.
the only one.
Just the one. Okay. I would say. Oh yeah. Let's see. What are we at? 72-49.
23-point game.
It's a lock.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Just those great years at USC.
How
Back
different-
when did he go, was he there for 3 or 4 years?
I think 3.
He didn't come back for 4. Okay. Yeah, if prolific backup quarterback in the NFL. Just well, that's not what we're talking about. But yeah,
How
those
different would
2
his
national
career-
championships. That's what I was thinking.
Did they win 2?
Yeah.
Okay, but they could have won a third if
Yeah,
Vince
they
Young
lost to
didn't
Texas.
happen. Okay. I can't believe
That's-
Leonard was
and
the
that's-
quarterback for both of them.
Oh shoot, what was he at the end of the list? There's a player I forgot.
Yeah,
Vince Young,
I didn't put him in there. All right, number 4 for me, Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
I think he
really?
was.
Yeah, Johnny. That freshman year,
I just think when I made
Was-
this list, it was like it made my like.
was he the first freshman to win a Heisman? True freshman to win a
could have
Heisman?
been. Yeah,
I think so.
sounds about
True
right.
freshman.
Yeah. It didn't go to his head or anything.
Why would it?
Exactly. But to me, it was like when I made this list, it kind of like if they fizzled out in the NFL, it kind of downgrades the list. But you can't deny how good Manziel was in college and
Right.
how polarizing he was, where everyone was talking about it when they beat Bama.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest
I remember
deal when
that.
they beat Bama.
That was the most vicious dunk. I mean, Cat down 28, but still, 26 now. But that was the most vicious. He put his whole forearm into the rim. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So
you're
I'm at number 4. This is my tie. We had
Yeah.
talked about this off air.
We get one tie.
We get one tie. And they're both Ohio State running backs. Chris Beanie Wells and Maurice Claret.
Chris Beanie Wells.
He was electric. I don't know. I mean, maybe you didn't pay attention.
I know who
while
he
was in
is. I
college.
remember him, yeah.
He had, and I could probably pull up the stats if you want me to.
Todd Beckman was his quarterback.
Right. Well, he's getting all the work.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, just a fantastic running back. Then Maurice Claret, that freshman year, he just first starting true freshman running back in Ohio State history.
And that's a great documentary too, the Youngstown.
Yep.
But yeah, for me though, like Claret, and I guess kind of the same thing with Johnny was that like he was at that 1 year, and then him and Ohio State got into it about him traveling during the Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of different, but it's like OSU just churns out running back so much, and then
And in the news right now, the number 2 running back in the country just committed to Ohio State.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say if you put Beanie Wells in, like, why couldn't you put in like J.K. Dobbins or
I just remember Beanie Wells.
his sophomore season, 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had 2,400. No, sorry, that's NFL. I gotta find his college stats.
He had 1,600 his sophomore year, and then 1,200 his junior year. 23 touchdowns combined. So
Yeah,
I guess it's a good pick. I just wouldn't like. He just wasn't. I guess it's kind of a popularity contest.
he was. Yeah, I just remember him being just electric that sophomore year, and where he had 222 rushing yards against Michigan. Mm-hmm. That kind of really cements it for me in terms of what you have. And on that team was crazy. You had Antonio Pittman was on that team too. It was just
Remember
a great
him?
year.
25. Now my tie, number 3, Darren McFadden and Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, Darren McFadden, did he play for
Arkansas.
Arkansas?
So those two, I feel like they were like. There was no reason to suspect Darren McFadden wouldn't be Adrian Peterson in the NFL too.
Right.
McFadden was I think that year they might have been both like 2007 or so.
Yeah.
But both of those guys that year were just unreal. Adrian Peterson, you could tell he was like a full grown, like he was like 20. It looked like he was playing high school versus JV.
Yeah.
AP was electric. Oklahoma was great. Yeah. So those two guys, McFadden, I literally. I forget because
He went to the Raiders, didn't he?
Yeah, that was back when I was an Ohio State fan. But I remember.
You used to like Ohio State.
Yeah, big time.
What was the turn for you?
College, I guess. Started not like
To OU, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, I'm pissed that I'm go to a school that doesn't have a good football team.
But it was like high school too. I didn't really care for him. But like back in middle school, I don't know why. But I remember like Ohio State needed LSU to lose to Arkansas, and McFadden ran for like 3 touchdowns or some shit. He was just freaking electric. I never thought he'd be like, everyone's go-to and is like name a draft bust at running back. He's like on that spell list of Raiders that have like never panned out, and that the Raiders like they take all these weird people in the first round that like run the fastest.
Let's hope that let's hope Josh Jacobs doesn't end up on that list.
Yeah, that's true. So that's my number 3. What about you?
Number 3.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush.
He's my number 2.
He's your number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably, I mean, you can. It's hard to argue players from different eras, but him and Archie Griffin, 2 greatest running backs in college football history, in my opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of other.
Yeah, there's a million.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Reggie Bush. It crushed the Ohio State's hopes and dreams. I think it was 2000. What was that? Do you remember? Maybe it was after he was gone. I don't remember. Do you remember? It was like the week 3 when Ohio State was like. I think it was Troy Smith's senior season or something like that. I'd have to go back and look, but Ohio State played at USC, and they got trounced. It had to be like 05, 06.
Well, 06, Ohio State wins the national championship. So
no, it wasn't that. It would be 05. Yeah. Or who was after? He was 07. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, he in which case he wouldn't have been on the team then, right? He left in 0.
Right. Yeah, he was
drafted
06.
Drafted 06. But he was on the cover of NCAA 06, 07, I believe. And I had that on my PSP. I wore that thing out. My fingers got raw from that. Remember that little ribbed directional pad or analog stick they had on there? Yeah. It would like my finger. I'd get sweaty because I'd get all stressed. My fingers would get sweaty, and then it would start to rub on that thing, and to get my thumb literally got raw. How much I played that game.
So, 2008, USC 35, Ohio State 3.
Yeah.
So.
Heart crushing.
0 for 1 with you bringing up Reggie Bush.
It wasn't Reggie Bush, but
it was Mark Sanchez throwing for 4 touchdowns.
Mark Sanchez.
And that was Todd Beckman.
Mark Butt Fumble Sanchez.
Who Todd Beckman was Ohio State quarterback that I like. He was my Andy Dalton before Andy Dalton. I would like defend him to the moon.
Really?
Yeah, and he was a clean 14 of 21 for 84 yards and 3 picks that day.
Yeah. When was the last time Ohio State had other than, I guess, he never really started, so not Joe Burrow. But when was the last time Ohio State had a good white quarterback?
Oh, Craig Krenzel?
Was he
Even
good?
He wasn't that good.
He's a Trent Dilfer kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
That's a good comp.
Yeah.
Art Schlichter? It's a first-round pick. He's the one that got into gambling when he got into the NFL, and he got banned.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
We've all been there.
Yeah, and how many with Ohio State probably has the record for most starting quarterbacks that have gone on to become NFL wide receivers. 2 off the top of my head.
Funny, because Todd Beckman got benched that day for Terrell Pryor, who went 7 of 9 for 52 yards.
He was on my short list, by the way. He had a fantastic college career.
Short list for what?
This list.
Terrell Pryor?
He had fantastic career in college.
Wouldn't you put any of the Ohio State recent quarterbacks above Terrell Pryor?
I don't know. I mean,
he lost to Michigan. No, is that Braxton Miller?
No, Braxton Miller did. That was the 6-6 year where they played Florida.
Fickle.
Where they played Florida in the Orange Bowl and lost.
That was the T-shirt. There was
the Gator Bowl. Sorry,
there was a T-shirt company. It was called Smack Talk T-shirt. They would sell it at JD Legends at the Dayton Mall.
Nice. I played a show.
Not
I was going to say
Legends.
JD Legends in Franklin.
Cardboard Heroes. At the Dayton Mall, there was a Smack Talk shirt brand, and it had all like good. It was like beating Cleveland so easy a caveman could do it, or something. It was like
the corniest shit ever.
I had a shirt. It was Johnny Manziel doing the money signs, and it said Johnny Rehab on it. So, but there was one. There was one that said. It was like that was the year. It was like what the fuck. It was WTF, and it was like we'll take Fickle, and then on the back it was like Luke Fickle like awkwardly blinking. Turns out he would turn around UC's program, and he's loyal. So, big Fickle guy. All right, 2 more segments, and we'll start with what we are Twitter trending today, and that is advice to your 18-year-old self.
Oh, boy.
You're just young. You're a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Full of piss and vinegar.
I turned 18 summer between junior and senior year.
Big flex.
People were hitting me up for cigarettes every fucking day, and I was not into cigarettes then. Because it's school's not that. School's not that.
I just turned 18 in the middle of summer.
Right.
And people were hitting me up for cigarettes.
Yeah.
I'm good looking.
I should have just started doing like markups and stuff. I could have made it into a small business.
Add $1 each carton.
I know, right?
Here, take a whole carton of cigarettes. Okay.
Yeah.
Advice.
Yeah. my number one, and for me, and this is for me specifically, not just any 18-year-old. I took college classes. I did PSEO.
Yeah.
So don't skip college class. Like high school class, you can't skip because they own that shit.
Right.
But the college class, don't skip college classes.
That's kind of what I wish I would have done, because I was hell bent on, I'm gonna load up my schedule my first 3 years of high school, and then my senior year I think I took anatomy, and then I had what's it called, study hall.
Yeah.
What do you
the
kids,
double block?
What do you kids call it? Study hall.
Yeah.
I was study hall 6th period, and the last period of the day I was a gym aide for middle school.
And I was the aide for Mr. Coffee.
Yeah. So
I did nothing.
Yeah.
I had
Mr. Coffee, real OG. I mean, no one knows what we're talking about.
Exactly. He was a music teacher.
Yeah.
But I had my right state classes for the first half of the day. I would come in after. What was the that free period that we had in the gym?
Wrong college.
Right. What was the free period we had in the gym? What was that called? Do you remember? We would just fuck around in the gym.
You just jerked off in the corner, and they were like, all right, A-.
People just like, it was like basically, it wasn't like a study. It was like almost like recess for high schoolers.
It was after fourth. This is so bad radio because no one knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was after fourth period.
Yeah.
And we played a game called Tips.
Yeah.
In basketball, and it was the shit.
Yeah. And Joey, me and Joey Mack got in a fight over Tips.
Joey Mack was my partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I came in for that. That was my first class.
Yeah.
Then I had English, and then I had the psych soc with what was her name? Blonde lady, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And then I had what is it, government? I can't even fucking remember. And then I had my study hall, double block study hall, which was student aid.
Yeah.
So I basically had two class, English and psych soc.
Was it Etna?
Etna. ETNA. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Wow. You just pulled that from the depths.
I pulled that. I fucking reached.
Our fellow Waynesville High School alums, if there are any of you out there that are listening, reach out to the pod Twitter.
What was that called after fourth period where we just got 30 minutes to just beat the shit out of each other? Tips? Okay. For anyone who's out there who, if you have friends that are, not feverish and, completely COVID free. Mm-hmm. If you can find 4 people to play Tips, here's the premise of the game. We're off track, but we need time. We have plenty of time. You 2-on-2, and the 2 people stand at the 3-point line. You can go anywhere as long as you're behind the 3-point line.
Right.
And the other 2 are either distracting the person shooting, or they're underneath the basket. And obviously, if each person on the team takes a turn shooting a 3, they make it, miss, whatever. But when they miss, you have a chance to tip it in. Mm-hmm. And if you tip it, you go back down to 0.
You can't touch the ball unless your feet are off the ground, though,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. That's a tip.
Well, for those who don't understand.
General tip-in rules. So you have to tip it, and you could, as long as your feet weren't touching the ground, you could jump in the air, pass it to your teammate, and they can tip it in. And it's just like playing 21, where you get back down to 0, and then once you get to 21, one of the 2 people on the team that has 21 has to make it to win. If you get tipped, you go back down to 0, 13 safe. Best game ever, and you're not sweating as much as you are playing regular 21.
Yeah.
So that might be a fun pod activity if we could ever get Scotty and Dayton.
And Nathan.
Or if we can get Nathan up to Columbus.
Yeah.
Because we'd go to Columbus. Nathan would have a million things going on. Mm-hmm. If we could play Tips, that's my goal for one time before the end of the year. Yeah. That would make my 2020 okay. All right, moving on.
Wait, I got other stuff.
No, I'm moving on to mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were moving. Next segment.
No.
I've got a whole list.
Yeah, no. I would say save money, and that's just pretty broad. But
yeah. Save my graduation money.
No. That was so gone.
I blew it on a computer and a guitar.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't even know. I think back-to-back. So summer before...
The amount of shifts I wouldn't have had to work at Target if I had saved that.
So the summer before my senior year, I had quit football to announce the games on the radio. And so I had the whole summer...
Yeah.
I had the whole summer free, and I had 3 jobs. And said I was landscaping in the morning.
You were
and then
getting yelled at the kennel.
I was at the kennel to start. I would go home, eat something, and then I would go landscape, and then after I'd landscape, I'd either go umpire a baseball game or go to Outback and be a busser. So I was making a fuckload of money
for a high schooler.
For a high schooler, so it was like when I had like $2,000 in my bank account, I was like, holy shit, what can I spend this on? And I would be carrying like. I remember like having like so much cash in my wallet just because
from tips and stuff.
Yeah, and like I would cash a check and like I'd take $30 out of it and put it like. Just
when I worked at Marion's.
Well, that's funny because like I remember I was at Holly Hills Golf Course.
Yeah,
and we were shooting. We were at the driving. We were just driving, and I took my wallet out, and someone handed it to me. He's like, "Why do you have so much cash?" And I was just like, "Oh, I mean, I go to Marion's a lot." This was cash only.
Cash. Well, now they take cards, but back there it was cash only. And I worked at Marion's, and they paid us in cash with a pay stub. They give you the pay stub and they give you your whole paycheck in cash right there. So I would just be like, I'm not taking the 10 minutes to drive over to the bank.
That.
I'm just going to take all this money and go home. And let me tell you, as an 18-year-old, when you just have a bunch of cash in your wallet,
worst thing you could have.
It's gone.
Yeah, because I put on a clinic on how to spend money as fast as possible. So
you're worse than the most rappers, I would assume.
Yeah, it was like I was just like, where did this all go? It was like, oh, new fishing equipment. It was like new shoes. And then, like...
You're like in the office when Oscar is explaining this scary black bar right here. Yeah. Who needs multiple magic sets or professional bass fishing equipment?
So I remember by the time senior year starts, I was like really running low on my summer funds, and I couldn't work 3 jobs anymore because school started. And then I was playing basketball. So I was working at Outback basically once a week on like Saturday. And that was the last time I ever worked a Sunday NFL. It was week 2 of the 2012 season.
Wow.
Bengals beat the Browns 34-27 in Cincinnati.
Wow.
But I was working like once a week and getting like a tip thing for like $35. And I was that was when gas was like 4 something a gallon. So it was basically I was driving to Outback to pay for the gas.
Well, thank God you had that old ass car you had was fuel efficient.
I did. But I think there was a few months where like I needed something major done to it, and I drove my parents' Jeep.
The number of times that I had to this is in high school, my senior year, the number of times I had to guilt my parents and then be like, can you bring me like $20 where I'm at right now? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it home.
Right. And I don't know, like, I also put on a clinic of how to not run out of gas, but almost run out of gas. And because where I live, the nearest gas station is about 20 minutes away. I don't know how I didn't run out of gas.
What is the nearest gas? Pat's Gas? Is that the nearest one to you?
Well, there's one like by Yellow Spring, or like going into Xenia. But okay, moving on.
Yeah. Next,
go ahead.
I would say your parents are right about 85% of the time.
That's generous.
And I say the older I get, the higher that number gets.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, I didn't hate my parents. I just disagreed with them on everything.
You basically think you know everything. Right. Because you're like, you live in your high school world of just testosterone, acne, and fucking lunch money. you think like, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's easy. Yeah, it's easy to have opinions when you don't have problems.
Right. You get like A's and B's in high school. That's all you have to worry about. And they're like juggling a mortgage, car payments, insurance, and everything else.
And your ignorant ass.
And your shit. And your like dirty ass laundry that you don't have to do.
Or the you're almost getting kicked out of your junior math class because you cheated on your geometry test.
Was that you?
Yes.
Oh.
That's the only time I ever got anything other than an A in a class up until that point in junior year was because I failed a whole ass math exam, like the midterm exam.
Yeah.
And
so there was no coming back.
There was I barely got a C. And it was just, I'd gotten away with it so many times up until that point.
Cheats in high school.
Yeah. Fucking Isaac Hammond's large ass. I sat behind him, just had the paper the answers on my desk. This guy's like one of the biggest players on the football team.
So real sidebar. My last year of football, he was like a nose tackle that was like Division III All-State.
Yeah.
And I was scout team center. So he was lining up right next to me, and it was like every play, I was like, I'd snap the ball and I'd immediately fall on my ass.
Yeah. So I would just sit behind this gigantic man, and and I had the answers, and he would whisper back to me, "What's the answer for this one?" I'd be like, "Hey, it's this right here." So, I just got away with every test.
Squid pro quo.
Yeah. And then she just started walking around, and I just wasn't even paying attention. Heyman, was that her name? Big Duke fan.
Yeah.
She just started walking around. She was like, "What the hell is that?" She literally said, "It's like, what the hell is that?"
Wait, so you had like, what do you
An
mean?
answer key on my desk.
Oh, that
formulas
you made
and stuff, like formulas and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Like instead of like an idiot, I didn't put it in my TI-83.
Right.
Yeah, just do that.
Get a job, Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Right. I was so brazen.
Amateur.
It's
yeah.
like
you think you're invincible if you cheat on anything. You're like,
and you don't get caught, and
yeah,
you do it like 3 tests in a row.
It's a rush.
It's like I have 100 in math class. I don't even need to do homework.
Tell me this. When she said, "What is that?" How much did your heart sink?
The pool of diarrhea that began to fill my bowels, and then you get sent down to the office to talk to Mr.
Principal.
Yeah, Gerhardt.
Yeah.
with the party plates.
Yeah.
And he's a scary fella. And then, but the biggest thing I was most scared of was my parents.
Right.
I was like, I could give a shit if any of these adults here at school are yelling at me. But
like back then, you also think like they're gonna kick me out of school. I like won't graduate. Like you think like the worst. Like
yeah,
right. I'm not gonna be able to graduate, or like they're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get an F on this class, and I'll have to be like I'll have to take summer classes or something. But
yeah, I had a 4.0 up until that point, and then
did Isaac get in trouble?
No.
Oh.
I was the only one who got caught. I think Kane Powell got in trouble too. We're just dropping all kinds of names in here.
So many names to people who are just like, what?
Who?
Are they why am I still listening to this?
Exactly. All right, so yeah, go with yours.
I would say apply to every scholarship you can.
Yeah.
Because
I only did one.
Yeah, I dropped the ball so many times. So there was like, we were talking about like how you kind of...
The money I could have saved my parents.
Right. And myself. Well, not you.
Exactly.
Mr. Born on Third thinks he hits a triple.
I had to pay for one class.
Yeah, poor thing.
It was because I failed it.
But what I was saying is like the free periods in my senior year was the last two were a study hall where you just sit there and jerk off and do homework for other classes, run a fantasy football league.
Yeah.
Which I was doing.
You've been running a fantasy football league since like 10th grade.
Year. Yeah. So I was big into that. That took up my entire free period most of the time. And then I was a gym teacher's aide. But then earlier in the day, I was a supportive peer where you went over to elementary school. You were like just a teacher's aide in a kindergarten class. And I was fucking good at it. And they loved me. And like all the teachers raved about me. And apparently there was like a $500, $1,000 scholarship given to a teacher's aide every year. And like both teachers that I had both years were like, Shelby, you need to apply to this. And I'm like, yeah, catch me at the football game concession stand talking to chicks instead of like doing this.
Oh man.
And so like I didn't apply to it. Some other dusty hoe won it. And I was just like, well, there's a quick grand I could have had.
Right. Yeah. We could go into those, the behind the concession stand at football games. I could talk about that all night. My next one is your little sister isn't annoying. She's just 12.
I didn't have that problem. I was the 12-year-old.
I was evil to my little sister. Shouts out to my little sister Emma. She's on the freshman senate at Baylor University. So humble brag there. But yeah, I was just an absolute turd all through high school to my little sister, and it was I was continuing the strong family tradition of my older sister was garbage to me when we were growing up and like stuff like that. So
that's just sibling stuff. I would say acne will go away.
Yeah, right. I don't get zits at all anymore.
So that's one we don't really have to talk about it. When I was 18, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to college for 4 years, and then I'll immediately just get my dream job the year after that.
Right.
And, like, nope. That doesn't happen.
Nope.
So get that out of your head, 18-year-old
How long was it between when you graduated and got your job at where you work now?
Graduated college in April 2017 and August 2017.
Oh.
So it wasn't.
Yeah.
But when I was 18, I thought, oh, I'm broadcasting football games on the radio. I'm going to go to college in 4 years, and then my 5th year, I'll be an NFL announcer. Like that's how idiotic you are when you're in high school.
Nobody is Allie whatever her name is.
Allie LaForce.
Yeah.
My OU. Mm-hmm. We went to the same journalism school.
Yep.
Do your taxes?
Yeah.
Because I just didn't.
You didn't?
No.
You just never did them?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So like when I mentioned I had those 3 jobs. Well, the thing was like the kennel.
Was that like a 1099 type deal?
Well, the kennel was under the table.
It's supposed to be a 1099 type deal.
It's supposed to be umpiring under the table, paid you in cash.
Really?
Yeah. Outback wasn't obviously
right.
That's taxed.
W-2.
And landscaping was under the table. So I had those 3 all.
Did
under
you get
the table.
hit with a tax bill at some point?
No. I should
not yet.
delete this.
Yeah. We'll cut this out. Yes, I did pay these taxes.
But I also worked at Kings Island for 2 years.
I remember that.
Yeah, I worked at King and just never did tax. Like, just never. I didn't work there.
You didn't file?
No.
Well, if you make under 500, you don't have to.
Like 500 for what?
Just if you make less than $500 from a place in a year.
Oh,
you
I
don't
made
have
more
to,
than that.
Oh,
yeah.
But did you?
No, I didn't. Wink. No, but I did. I remember having taxes from like junior year, senior year, and I just never did them. And I was
you
like,
know what we didn't
that'd
do?
be a nice little what?
We didn't finish our list of college players.
Save it to the end.
At my paper, and I'm like,
save it to the end.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's just say it now. Number 1, Tim Tebow.
We didn't do number 2.
Oh, I said Reggie Bush was mine.
And we didn't get to mine.
Do 2. What was your 2?
Troy Smith.
Okay, what was your number 1?
Cam Newton.
Oh, okay. My number 1 was Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about that guy.
Yeah.
That's
everyone was
hilarious.
talking about Scam Newton.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I don't
not
know why I
something
don't
that was
remember
like.
that very well.
But that national championship was just amazing. That Iron Bowl, I think that Iron Bowl that they had was even
One of the
better
best
than
college
national.
games.
Yeah.
Best college
Fantastic.
endings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think isn't that where he started doing the Superman thing?
Might have been.
I think so. Anyways, yeah. Next one I got. Savor the Ravens Super Bowl more. It could be a while.
Shut up.
Joe ain't it, Chief.
I actually put don't go to the Bengals Chargers playoff game.
Or the Bengals Steelers playoff game.
Well, I was in college.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to it, but yeah. Anything else from when you're 18?
Yeah. Don't take Calvin Johnson number 1 overall. And then Matt Stafford.
Oh God. How do you think you're invincible when you get those 2? From 18, I'm trying to think back like what was on my mind, and it was just like what shenanigans can I get into every weekend?
For sure.
And it was like my biggest deal was like I wanted to score points when we had a home game on Fridays in basketball because that's when the biggest student section was there.
You're locking down Luke Kennard.
Well, fun story. Real quick, I'll get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Senior year, we're playing Luke Kennard. He's all the
He
rage.
went to Franklin.
Yep, he was a freshman. He's a guard for the Pistons now. First round pick. I think he was 12th overall. And, you know, his junior year, or my junior year, he was a freshman. And he dropped like 37 on us.
Yep.
Next year, he's a sophomore. Everyone knows about him by now. Coach K is at the game at Franklin. Waynesville versus Franklin. Season opener. I sprained my thumb playing in a turkey bowl 8 days earlier, so I had it wrapped. so that's where my priorities were.
We could talk about turkey bowls for a while.
But there was a turkey bowl my brother had with his friends, and there was like in the middle of the field there was just a septic tank with a cement covering.
Yeah.
And I dove for a fumble on it, and just like my thumb was on the ball.
You
my
jackknifed your
exactly.
thumb.
And I was like, just look at my thumb. It's like the color of like Joe Flacco's jersey.
It's the best-selling book, The Color Purple.
Right. So, this was like, this isn't good. So I had it wrapped. And then, so my first shot of, I took the first shot of the season by the entire team, and it hit the side of the backboard right in front of Coach K. So I think the ball landed like right in front of him. It stayed in bounds though. So it was
Needless
short-lived.
to say, Coach K wasn't giving you any looks.
Right. But then later in the game, it was like third quarter, I check in. And I check in for whoever I checked in for, and I'm like looking around, and there's like 4 guys from Franklin just under the basket,
Yeah.
and they're all covered by our guys. And I turn around, I'm like, well, who do I have? And it's like Luke Kennard.
You have a whole ass Luke Kennard to guard.
I was like, oh, I have a future Duke Blue Devil running at me.
You have a future NBA starter.
Right. So I'm like, all right, well, here we go. Like, just don't fall down. And so he like crosses me up like 4 times, and I'm like swaying back and forth like the crow's nest on the Titanic.
Yeah, you're very top heavy.
Right. And then he just lets go a 30-footer, and I'm like, well, this is the end. And it goes in and out. And I'm just like jogging down the court. I'm just thinking, I'm like, you
Luke
ain't
Kennard
shit.
is 0 for 1 against Shelby.
Like, you ain't shit, bro.
So yeah, Luke Kennard is 0 for 1, 0% against Shelby Dermer.
Fact, and it'll stay that way. I don't see it changing anytime
unless
soon.
you end up suiting up in the NBA.
Or unless he retires soon and joins like the same rec basketball league we're in. And I'd probably stay away from him at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Last segment, the one we added mid-pod. So schools in Ohio are put on the back burner again, still postponed until May 1st now. It was supposed to be like next week.
Why even go back?
Well, I can't. For like 2 minutes the other day, I thought about like all the logistics people have to think through because of this, like pushing things back, what happens with graduation, and like just basically from the school system.
Who cares? They're high schoolers.
I know, but tips to your 18-year-old self: don't be a senior during coronavirus.
Right.
But I was just wondering. I was just like, I would not want to make those decisions because everyone's gonna be mad at them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to check my Twitter mentions. Is what I'm saying. So schools are still closed until May 1st. So another month. So this is the segment: tips for stay-at-home moms from two guys who aren't stay-at-home moms. So I think we're pretty much qualified to talk about this. What would you give a stay-at-home mom as advice?
I would say
a little Bailey's in your coffee goes a long way.
Yeah. Try to find out when it is that your kids get up. Set your alarm for a good 20 to 30 minutes before that, just so you can have a moment to yourself.
I would say, like, just pray they sleep in as long as possible.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's just, like, you want to get time to yourself because when they take... If they're young enough to still be taking naps, the nap times, you're not going to have that time to yourself. That's when you're going to get the stuff done that you need to get done. So if you want time to yourself, it's either going to be before they wake up or after they go to sleep, and you're going to be so tired after they go to sleep that you just want to go to sleep too.
Yeah, I'd say if you could just go to sleep when they do.
Yeah.
And then wake up 2 hours beforehand, get your coffee.
Because kids sleep like especially youngers, they sleep like 10 hours.
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal. But yeah. So there's a tip.
Yep. What else you got?
Get them all tablets if they don't have one already.
I was gonna go the opposite. Was like limit the tablet time, or else they're gonna
tablets all day.
Mine is gonna be teach them how, depending on their age, teach them how to do laundry.
Yeah.
My sister, she's got 3 kids. She's told me that her oldest is like 8 years old. I'm a great uncle, by the way.
Yeah.
8 years old. She loves doing laundry. They love doing things like kids, like especially younger ones. They love doing things that you do because they think it's cool. So like like cognitively manipulate them into wanting to do chores for you.
Yeah, you got to use it to your advantage at some point. So it's like if you ever need to let the dog out, yell at one of them to do it.
Right. Use them as your own personal slave labor. Essentially, is what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Because that's what our parents did, right?
I would go the whole electronics go off king, because it's tough because we don't really have this nailed down to like a certain age group of kid that you have.
Right.
So I really don't know if it's an older kid, they're probably going to stay in their room and not do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would say. I would say if you can afford it, get some good help. Someone to take the kids to.
That's a good. No, well, you can't really take them.
You go to parks. I went to the park the other day.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, that'd be good if you can afford it. Even a couple hours. Just be like, I'm
just
going
to
on a walk.
Get that nap in.
Yeah, taking a nap, going on a walk. If you get like 2 hours off in the middle of the day, you're pretty much good.
Disney Plus subscription. If you don't have it already, get it now.
Or get Zach's info like I did, and then never use it. I watched Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, and then I have not used it since. Because I tried watching an ESPN 30 for 30, and it kept, I couldn't rewind it.
You know what I found out? It's just on the ESPN Plus application on PlayStation is trash. It works well on the phone. It works well on the laptop. It works well on the Fire Stick.
Okay.
It's just its compatibility with PlayStation is garbage.
Okay. All right. Well, don't get Zach's info unless you know that. Other tips I don't really know. Enjoy it because you'll miss it. when they're out of the house and they don't call.
Yeah, my parents adopted a whole ass baby just to fill the void.
It's a big void.
Yeah. Now they have a 3-year-old boy, and they're like, "Did we make the right choice? I think we did, but did we make the right choice?" So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of my mom turns 50 this year, and she has a 3-year-old boy that is every bit a toddler.
Yeah. Is that our show?
That's our show.
All right. See you next time on Thursday. Scotty will hopefully be back, and we will crown our March Sadness winner.
And we will have, again, we had to postpone.
0 for 2.
0 for 2 on the trivia showdown between Scotty and Shelby on How I Met Your Mother.
Boom, boom.